I'm Nancy Najm, co-founder of Cloudhoods. I have here with me today founder of Blue Jay Works, Hala Ghandour, and we will be talking about ways to achieve success while juggling motherhood and career. Hi, Hala.
Hi, Nancy. Very nice to be with you.
Same here. Please tell us more about yourself and your journey.
Sure. So, as you noted, I'm the founder of Blue Jay Works. It's a strategic advisory and an executive coaching business. I started this business really after spending 20 years in the private sector and the public sector. So I started as an investment banker in New York with JP Morgan. After business school, I moved to Dubai and I worked for McKinsey. And then in 2006, I started a long tenure with the government, which included head of corporate planning for His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid's executive office, chief of staff for Princess Haya, deputy managing director, helping bring the expo to Dubai, and then chief development officer of the entity that was planning the expo. And really what tied all these pieces together is that I helped design and build organizations from the ground up. And that's exactly what Blue Jay Works does. We work with executives as they navigate their business success, but also as they manage their own career success.
Amazing background.
Thank you.
So you're an executive coach.
Yeah.
Why do women come to you for exactly?
It's a really good question. I mean, I don't see only women, but the women that come to me generally fall into two categories. So we've got the entrepreneurs, and they are generally trying to scale their business, and they're really looking for a partner to help them do that. Or you're looking for or you're looking at that executive that's in an existing organization and she's trying to climb that corporate ladder. And they come to me either because they need kind of help with strategic work. So how can I grow my business? What direction do we take? What's our competitive advantage? Or they come to me for like more personal development stuff. Like, I'm now not a doer, I'm a manager. And how do I make that transition? How do I hone my leadership skills? Or, I can't get my team to do what I really need them to do. So do I have the right team in place? How can I mobilize them? How can I organize them? How can I incentivize them? And I help prepare them for big milestones. That might be managing their board, managing their investors.
So you also try to do work also on the personal side of them, like self-development as well, to manage those VCs and...
Yeah, I mean, really I work, either people have very specific things in mind, so we call that a strategy piece, and we'll do a specific scope, or they'll come to me as a woman looking for an executive coach, and I work with her to define where is she trying to get to professionally and personally, and how can we work together to help her navigate that journey.
And what's the value of having an executive coach in your life?
I honestly, truly, I think I came to the executive coaching part. The strategy part was what I was doing before.
I see.
How I added the executive coaching is because I really wished I had had a coach when I was working full-time, 19 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's really creating a space every week where you are with a thought partner who understands what you're going through, understands your industry, understands your journey. And that person helps you keep track of where you're going and helps you keep track of all of the noise. We all know every day 3 million things get thrown at us. And you're trying to work with somebody on, okay, what do I really need to focus on to make sure I get promoted or to make sure I'm growing my business? At the same time, how do I tackle all of the politics I'm facing at work and all of these difficult circumstances I'm facing with my colleagues or with my investors? And that's having the safe space every week to reflect on your journey and to tackle the things that come up in a framework with milestones and accountability is God sent.
Exactly. Can imagine. Okay, so you've been working with women and men for sure.
Yeah.
But how is this different for the mother that comes to see you?
Yeah.
Because
no. I mean, absolutely. And I know that we're here in Mum's World, and that's, all the mothers that are listening. It adds another layer of complexity. Yeah. So these women are doing all the same things I described before. They're trying to build their business. They're trying to grow as executives. But at the same time, they're thinking, how do I tackle the most important, the most valuable, and the most challenging role of all, which is motherhood. And often the rhetoric I get is, I'm being pulled in a million different directions. I'm not spending enough time at work. I'm not spending enough time with my kids. Who knows what my husband's up to, or my partner. And forget about me. I don't remember the last time I slept. I don't remember the last time I read a book or got my nails done or just relaxed.
I can so relate.
Yeah, all of us have been there. And I think if that's not addressed and worked on, it is very easy to feel very overwhelmed and to reach the tipping point, the breaking point. And you find that a lot of mothers leave the workforce because they reach that point of exhaustion.
True.
And they haven't had resources and they haven't had support to really just tackle it. And so they fall. That's one thing. But if you allow me, also there's another thing. Even for women who don't feel overwhelmed, there's also a stage where every woman reaches, and men, but maybe women earlier, where we think about what was all this for?
That's so true, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Okay, great. I built this career. I've got this company that I'm building, but at what expense? And how do I build a life that I want?
But when they come to you with all those big issues, which are like honestly big issues, what do you do about it?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna laugh because I know that people hate this word, but I actually always start with a visioning exercise.
Oh.
So visioning gets a bad rap, I think, but very few of us take the time to think through, what do I actually want out of my life? If I imagine where I'm going to be in 5 years, if I imagine where I'm going to be in 10 years, where am I? What kind of life am I leading? What kind of career will I have built? Where are my children and what will I have prepared them to do?
Yeah.
You know, what kind of life do I want with my partner? What kind of adventure will I have? What kind of impact and legacy will I leave behind? And I work with my clients to almost look at their life, break it down into these buckets that are important to them. So they may be health, family, career, financial security.
So we categorize.
Yeah, we categorize into a range that are important to that woman.
Right.
And we say, what do you want? Where do you imagine your life is going to be in 5 years? If you got everything you dreamt of.
But it's not easy even to start. Like if you're going to ask me now, like where should I start? Like I'm all over the place in my head. How can you
So I'll answer that in two parts. One is, for a lot of people, the visioning exercise is difficult.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about breaking it down into compartments, because inevitably some of these categories are easier than another. If you had asked me 5 years ago, what's your vision for your life? There's no way I would have been able to tell you. But if you told me, Hala, think about your health, what would you want your health to be? I could say, I wish I was a little bit fitter. Maybe I wish I had lost a bit more of my baby weight. I could, with more concrete vision, I could tell you that. And some of those things, maybe what she wants to be as a mother, what she wants to be as a partner, what she wants to be with financial security, maybe those will come easy. Then for a lot of women, the career one is hard.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that, but we start with the easy and we get to the hard and we try to make it as concrete as possible. Because if it is just esoteric, you'll never get there.
Yeah.
If it's, I want to be fit, okay. But what does it actually mean to you to be fit?
Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Please,
I was going to say, because when you started with the visioning thing,
yes,
I was going to say, to be very honest with you, I find that I didn't have a great experience with the visioning. I end up all the time with like a really nice, well-designed paper, colored images that I put on the shelf,
Yeah.
Do you have any practical tips to put those vision into action, actually, and concrete stuff?
100%. So I know that there are all of these retreats where we all write nice words and draw nice images, and then we kind of put it up on a board and we forget about it. The point is, if we make a concrete goal, so if you say to me, let's tackle career. If you say to me, my dream one day is to have an NGO that works with refugee children, That's great.
All right.
That's concrete. And that's something you can actually work towards. And so I try to make, there's this thing called SMART goals, where they say it has to be specific, it has to be measurable, it has to be something that you can actually track. And so I can say to you, if that's your vision, Nancy, if your vision is to be part of an NGO, we know that might not happen tomorrow. But then we say, okay, what is a realistic goal for 2021 to help you get there?
I see.
And we will say, okay, what does that mean? It may mean this year I want to make sure I grow my network with NGOs so that I can know what kind of NGO I build. That's very concrete. So then you can translate that goal into actual things in your calendar. So then I'll tell you, what does that mean? You'll tell me I'm going to spend 1 week researching it every week. Perfect. That's measurable. 1 hour every week measuring it. That's something that goes directly into your calendar.
I see.
And we do it with motherhood. Women tell me, I really want my kids to remember that I was a present mother.
True.
And I say, I feel that way a lot. But what does that mean to you? Your answer might actually be different to mine.
Okay.
So I might ask you, what does being present mean?
For me, I would love them to remember that I've been next to them, cheering them in their activity, because it's something that I make an effort to go to his soccer game, to his swimming game, because I can see this connection that he's looking at me to see what he's doing. Okay. So maybe that, drop off a pickup.
Okay, fine.
And I think this is
so this would be, so we would say, okay, I want to be a more present mother. The very specific goal of this year is I want to do drop off 5 days a week, and I want to watch an activity at least once a week. And let's say I want to do bedtime routine twice a week. That's something very concrete, and you put that in your schedule.
I see.
It becomes a lot easier for you to eliminate the guilt. To be like, okay, I'm not going to feel guilty about it because I know I put it in my calendar. And we know nothing is set in stone. Some days you may get a meeting and you missed that bedtime routine.
Sure.
Or you do 3 times a week and you're like, you know what? It wasn't enough. And then you adjust.
So this is how we can keep it consistent, because we know all the time that we can get excited about one thing in the beginning and then we just lose track.
100%.
How can we keep it consistent? Because it's hard.
So I would say the process is visioning per category, having very specific annual goals that help you get to that vision. And then the most transformational habit of all to ensure consistency is taking time every week for planning. I know, Nancy, in your workplace, I'm sure you think about next week, what meetings do I have?
Every single detail, except for my personal thing.
Exactly.
To be honest, like I put everything, the work, the meeting, the Zooms call, and activities for my kids, but I never put the
personal
extra
goals.
No.
So what I work with my clients on is be as intentional with your personal goals as you are with your professional goals. So if you take every Saturday, if you spend an hour looking at the week ahead and you say, I said I was going to spend 3 times a week having dinner with my children, put it in there.
Wow.
So it's there. So you're not at Thursday, you're like, oh my God, I didn't have a single dinner with my kids, or I didn't watch a single game. What that time also lets you do is look at your week ahead and notice other things. So you notice, I notice my son Amir has book day on Thursday, or Layla has a birthday on Friday. So that day on Saturday, I order the present for the birthday, and I order the costume
for the book day.
Because what happens on Wednesday night, I'm driving from work and I'm like, oh my God, I can't go home. I need to go to the mall because I need to buy a present. So if I do that, that means I'm not having dinner with the kids and I'm not putting them to bed and I'm stressed and I'm tired. And
that's very interesting, honestly. It's a very good reflection because I've never thought about it. I'm sure like a lot of moms also missed about it.
It's so easy, but it's really just dedicating that time to spending time with your calendar, doing everything, planning your meals, looking at what commitments already exist, and putting those goals intentionally into your weekly schedule.
Interesting. Okay, I have one more question.
Okay.
you know, there's a lot of moms out there who left the workforce.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now they want to get back to it, but they really don't know where to start. And they don't have a clear vision of what they really want to be.
Yeah.
So how can you help those women to clarify their path, you know, to have a clear path?
I think it's a very good question. And I think a lot of women feel that way, not only when they leave the workforce, but even when they take a pause.
Yeah.
A lot of writers talk about a sweet spot. So they say the sweet spot exists between your passion, what gets you super excited, your skills, what are you actually good at, or what skills could you develop with relative ease? And finally, what does the market want? What are people willing to pay for? And if you find that perfect middle point between what are you excited about, what skills could you bring to this industry, and is anybody willing to give you a job in that space, or can you create a business in that space? That's the sweet spot.
I see.
So, and once we identify the sweet spot, it's all about, okay, how do we get you ready? How do you build the skills? How do you build your network? How do you start applying for jobs? Or how do you start a company? And that's where the exciting work happens. But it's a journey. I know it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of reflection.
Is it easy to find a sweet spot sometimes? Even I just think, but maybe something that they are very excited about has nothing to do with the skills.
Yeah.
What do you do by the one? I'm just thinking, like, if I'm really excited about traveling, but my skills are...
I have a personal bias that if you're doing something you love, you'll always be better than everybody else in the industry.
I agree.
Because you will be putting the extra dedication and commitment in, and it won't feel like hard work because you love it.
Perfect.
And I think if you find that thing that you really love, you will work hard to get the skills to do it. Or you'll get partners or staff to help you do it. So where there's a will, there's a way, as they say.
Totally. Last question.
Yeah.
Any other advice for the working moms out there?
Two things that I find helped me a lot. The first is when I was really overwhelmed, I loved the concept of 5-star moments. So somebody came up with this concept of 5-star moments that bring you joy. So they said, if you look at everything you do, there's some things that just make you happy.
Yeah.
And those are your 5-star moments. For some people, it's going hiking in a mountain or taking a walk at sunset on Kite Beach. For me, it's waking up early in the morning when everybody's asleep, making myself that perfect cup of coffee and sitting alone in a quiet house before the kids have woken up and drinking my coffee. Drinking my coffee, reflecting on my day. I cannot tell you how that little thing makes me happy and starts my day off in the perfect way. I also love flowers. So I order flowers all the time. Because really, I mean, sometimes when I'm really stressed and I've got back-to-back Zooms or I'm rushing between meetings, when I look up and I kind of see those flowers on the table, it makes me smile. It just brings me happiness.
I love the idea.
So I always tell women, especially when you are really overwhelmed, think of little things that you can put in your day that'll give you a moment of
self-love.
Yes. And also, if you do that, I think that you'll become conscious of your 1-star moments. The things that we do, but you know what, don't bring us a lot of joy. And it could be dinner with that person that you do, but you know what, every time you leave, you don't really feel happy. Or when I became more intentional about my time, it was easier for me to see what really made me happy and to make sure things were like that were in my life. And to see the things that really didn't bring me happy and to slowly start removing them.
Because sometimes it really started, for me, for instance, it's hard to say no. Sometimes I say yes because I don't know. It's hard for me to say no. And sometimes it happened to the same situation. Like, I'm not really happy in this, but I said yes, you know.
Yeah, and you know, you've got the perfect tip, which is be okay with saying no.
True.
And I know that this is a bit more life coaching than career coaching, but every career woman knows if you are not feeling balanced, where you are feeling okay, it is impossible to do your job well. because you are just not giving your best to your clients, to your customers, to your team, to your stakeholders, etc.
Perfect.
And one last tip I said. The other thing I would say is just be kind to yourself. Nothing is perfect. We talked earlier about planning. Sometimes things don't go according to plan, and be okay with that. Be okay with saying, you know what, today something happened with my child, and I'm unhappy that it turned out that way.
We tend to beat ourselves up a lot, right?
Yeah, and what can you do? It happened, it passed. All you can do is say, okay, I know I'm unhappy about it.
It's fine.
What learnings are there? Tomorrow's a new day, and hopefully tomorrow I'm a better person, and I've learned from it, and I can bring that learning forward.
I like it a lot. So thank you so much, Hala.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to speak to you.
It was an amazing talk for me, at least. I'm sure everybody loved it. Thank you so much for joining.
Take care. Bye.